Welcome back to the second series in the Sevenaria University quest to syncretize understandings from a historical standpoint and a modern standpoint. Here we're going to talk about some information that's fairly important. It's known as the precession of the equinoxes. And that simply means the sun's proceeding through its calendar year. And as we discussed in the previous videos, there are equinoxes equalizing, and this is the solstice, but for this purpose, we can call this an equal spot too. It's equal. And so the precession of the equinoxes should really be read of the sun through the equinoxes. That's really what's going on. So it's the sun through the equinoxes, okay? So we're going to talk about the precession of the equinoxes, or like Sevenaria likes to call it, the precession of the sun through the equinoxes. So let's go ahead and do that. And we're going to build another graph using another circle graph depicting 10 points in the circle, okay? And that's going to represent the sun's year as opposed to what it represented before, which was our year, our calendar year. And go ahead and draw that circle using a tool I invented called a circulator, which is a suction cup, a bar with holes, and level points, leveling devices that I can use to find level points. So this helps me create a perfect circle, completely relaxed, without having to worry about any sort of mistake in the circle itself, and therefore very little mistake in the creation of the parts of the circle, which comprises the 10 parts, the 12 parts, excuse me. It's all made relatively easy because I've attached levels to this. So it's made very easy, especially by repetitive use of this tool. And as I've said in a previous video, if you guys are interested in donating to the university, I'm not fundraising, not selling anything, donations, you will receive as a thank you a handmade tool, a handmade circulator. But I would ask that the donation not be minuscule. I know that's kind of strange to ask, but a lot of people would love to make a folly of things and send 2 cents, which is absolutely worthless in today's world. So we're talking about an honest donation. If these can be made, then you'll honestly get a circulator, which I think will be some of the first circulators to be circulated, so to speak. Dun-dun-dun. Okay, let's go ahead and draw in the other parts of this graph, as we ought to do. So we're going to be describing the sun's path through its year, as opposed to the sun's path through our year, which is what we described in the last video, right? So this one's going to be a little bit different. Needs to get ready. So this is a calendar of a 12-part cycle, of which is called the precession of the equinoxes. Okay, so this precession of the equinoxes works in this fashion. The sun in our calendar year is, as we discussed in the previous video, moving from December this way, which is known as clockwise. In its year, the sun is moving this way, counter. How do we know this? Because when we go through our year, the sun is sitting in different positions in front of constellations. That's why we have Aquarius. That's why we have Aries. Because throughout the year, he's sitting in different constellations. But the sun is setting on the horizon. And behind the sun's setting, on that horizon, is a constellation, but we can't see it. There's all the other constellations, we can see them. But because he's following this constellation, so to speak, to the horizon, before he sets, we can't see it. We can't have it, it's too bright. He is shining and we can't see it. That is called the house of the sun. You know, the house of the rising sun and all that. That's what that is. He's in the constellation. So the constellation is here and the sun is blocking it. The sun blocks constellations for 21. I'm sorry. He blocks constellations for 2,100 years, each constellation. 2,100, 2,100. $2,100 years, on and on. They know this by looking at the position of the sun in relation to the constellation. So, all right, this is messy from a previous lesson. They know that because the sun is occupying, as I said, the constellation on the horizon. And if they look at from the earth to the sun, and he's blocking constellation X, and all the other constellations are open on this band, right? There's 12 of them. So if he's blocking this one, there's got to be 11 more, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. These constellations are free. But he doesn't always stay here. He moves in all the other constellations. So they wanted to know, how long does that take? So he's here, and they noticed, first thing they noticed was he wasn't moving clockwise. The sun against the constellations, the sidereal band, this is called the sidereal band of stars, he was moving this way. And he moved because on those solstices, like we talked about, on the solstices, he appears at the same time, except every year he appears 1 minute late. 1 minute late. Every year on the solstice is 1 minute late. And so these 1 minute late on the solstices every year, this 1 minute late stuff every year equals out after 72 years to 1 degree in these 30-degree bands. These are all 30, the sky is divided into 30 degrees. That's why it's 360 degrees in a circle. So he loses time. He's late, 1 minute late. So he moves into the constellation he's blocking there. And then the next year he's here, next year here, next year here. And it keeps going, man. And every 72 years, he loses a click. And 72 years, click, 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 click. And it takes 72 times X amount of numbers to equal 2,100 years till the sun breaks the barrier between the signs. He heads this way and he tick, 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 72, 72, 72, 72, 72, 72, 72, 72. And suddenly he's all the way here when he started here. And then he breaks the barrier into the other sign. And so now we don't see the sun here anymore. We see him here. 2,100 years later. And he keeps going. Then he disappears from here, just like he did there. And now we see him here. See how that works? And he keeps going and going and going and going. And he breaks every sign he's in. He breaks every sign. This is the ages. This is called the Great Age. The Great Age. And this is the Great Age. 26,000 years, 25,700 years. That's about how long it takes for the sun. He has the same names of his signs. So if we were to go back again to our graph here and see that the sun is moving this way, right? He will enter into Aries eventually. And so we are at the year 2022. So if we were to take approximately 2,100 years from here and go back, we would go back approximately 2,100 years or so, 2,078 years. And we would end up at Pisces. And this is the age of Jesus, right on time. 0000, 2,100 years ago is the age of Jesus. This is why we're age of Aquarius, because the sun is no longer in Pisces. Tick, 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 tick into Aquarius. But before Pisces, it ticked through all these signs. 2,100 years each. And we can go all the way back to Adam now. Let's take a trip. Before Jesus was the age of Aries. This is Jesus. 2,100 years approximately before him was Moses, who was in the age of Aries. Right? In the age of Aries. That's why you have a lot of ram worship in Egypt when Moses is around. Before him is Abraham. But before that, he was Ab-Ram. He's in the age of Taurus. Again, another bold animal. So he's in the age of Taurus. So the sun is in Taurus for 2,100 years. So you can see there was bull worship in Babylon, Mesopotamia, in Samaria, where Abraham comes out of. Then there was Ram in Egypt. You find rams all over there. Then the fish. Now we're in the mind. So see how the sun affected all of our ages? Can you see how in Taurus, during Abraham, there was bull worship in Samaria? They worshiped the bull and the bulls of Bashan. The bulls of Bashan. Here you have Aries and rams in Egypt, signifying the age of Aries. And Moses is sometimes depicted with two horns by Michelangelo. And that means he's a young ram, a young Aries. The sun, he's the sun. Jesus is the sun. This time he's in Pisces with the fish. Duality. Two fish. Duality. But really it's the eternal, the duality, the two fish are together. Now the sun is tick, 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 tick. Now when it shines on the horizon, it's shining in Aquarius. Here, 2022. And it will go, 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 go. And 2,100 years from now, it will shine in Cap. It will shine in Cap. It will set on the horizon in Capricorn. And if human race, as long as lucky enough to see that, we'll see that. And it will be now the age of Capricorn. But we have now begun 2,100 years of Aquarius. That's where we're at now, in the beginning. So we're beginning all over again. And so if you look back, you can go to Abraham, then you can go back to, I'm sorry, I have it written down here. So it's back to Noah. Goodness. Back to Noah in, Noah is of course in Gemini. And then back to Adam and Eve. And then back to who is in Cancer. And then back to Leo before. So this is why you have the Sphinx. I think it's how it's spelled. That's why you have the Sphinx looking at Leo. It's looking at the constellation of Leo in the heavens. 10,500 BC. That's where we're at right there. Leo. Genesis 1. Leo. 10,500. Looking at the constellation Leo. Then Adam and Eve are the sun, destroying the age of Leo and the Anunnaki and bringing the age of Cancer. Adam and Eve. That is then 8,400 years ago. So Adam and Eve is 8,400 years ago. It isn't the beginning of man. It isn't the beginning of the earth. It isn't the beginning of anything. It's the beginning of the sun in this age. Not the beginning of man. Adam and Eve is not the beginning of man. Adam and Eve is the beginning of the sun in this Cancer. Then Noah, as Noah is not the beginning of man, but there were people before him, is the beginning of the sun in Gemini. Abraham destroys Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah was actually Gemini. the two twins. The two boys, Sodom and Gomorrah. Ares is Moses. He destroyed Abraham's Taurus. He brought the rams to Egypt. And then Jesus brought the fish. Here at Sevenaria University, we want to be able to clearly explain the meaning of things. And we've just shown you that Adam was approximately 8,400 BC. Okay? And so this is the precession of the equinoxes as taught by Sevenaria U. And I hope you've enjoyed watching this precession of the equinoxes presentation of the 2100 year 25,700 year cycle of the sun, and how it affects us as human beings on the planet because of its position against the constellation it is sitting inside of. Okay? So we appreciate your time once again here at Sevenaria, and thank you so much for watching our videos. I'm going to be making more videos as soon as possible, and the next one should cover our desire to reorganize the calendar, the sidereal and tropical zodiac, reorganizing the calendar to a 30-day system, telescopes and flat earth, natal charts, and more. So hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks again for looking at the Sevenaria production, and we'll see you again here at Sevenaria University. Thank you.